Hey there, it's Ravit and Murray again from the Nasty Divorce Podcast. Just to remind you, we are not lawyers or therapists. We are two divorced parents on a mission to demystify nasty divorces, understand how and why nasty divorces are becoming an epidemic, discuss problems we see in today's divorces, along with provide solutions.
And just a heads up, you'll be hearing very little of me on this podcast. Why? Because this is financial consequences of fighting it out in court. I didn't go this way. Ravit did. She's got numbers that are going to absolutely flabbergast you. There's a one, two, three. Number three on the list, lost vacations. That's the one anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but when it comes to lost vacations, I will have something to say.
Bottom line is, we are here to talk about what it actually costs to go to court. We're looking at present value of money. We're going to look at future value of money. We're going to look at how much you've lost along the way, what you've lost along the way. So if you are thinking of taking that route of litigating and going to court, thinking that if you say, I demand justice, and you're going to get exactly what you want, you're wrong. And the reason is, number one, you can't predict the outcome in court. So you may think you're right, and it may be based on your reality and based on your life. But when you go in front of a judge, it's not going to be about your reality anymore. It's going to be about taking the two stories or the two sagas and finding a happy medium. Number two, it's going to be about the fact that once you go into court, you're not coming out so easily. It's an obsession. You have to understand, it's about winning and losing. So if, let's say, Murray and we were going to court, and I instigated the first round, and I'm forcing you to court, doesn't matter why. I'm forcing both of us to spend money, okay? Let's say we're each spending $10,000, okay, to prepare to get to court and to present themselves in court. So 10 grand each. We're both at a loss of 20 grand right now, okay? Now, Murray, you lose. You weren't expecting to lose. You were thinking, I'm definitely going to win this one. This one's in the, is in the bucket. I've got this one. Turns out you actually lost. Now you're pissed off, right? Mm-hmm. And now you're fuming and saying, how on earth did I lose? So maybe it'll take you a couple of months. Maybe it'll take you a year. You're going to boil in your head and you're going to say, no way in hell am I going to let Ravit win this one. I'm taking her back to court over something else. Now you forced the both of us to go to court. Now we're at round number two. Okay?
How much is it going to cost?
Another 10 grand, let's say. Okay, so you're out 20 grand and I'm out 20 grand at this point. Okay, because once lawyers are involved and you're at the very beginning of your divorce, you don't really know how to represent yourself in court. You don't know the laws, you don't know the forms that you need. It's not so easy. Okay, you might be a very intelligent person, but you might not know what you're doing in a courthouse. Okay? So now round two, now I lost. And I go, no way is Murray gonna, up me on this one. So now I'm going to take you back next time. So now we're round three.
We're going back to egos again, aren't we?
Exactly. And then it's about ego, power, and money. It's not about the issues anymore. It's about I want to win, and I want to make sure you lose so bad that you realize I'm the big, bad winner. And you can't get me to budge because anything I say goes, and what you want is irrelevant. That's what it becomes about.
Is this a personal question here? Is this your personality?
In what way?
Well, you can win, okay, you can win. It's no sweat off me if you win.
Well, I guess it does become a personality issue.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Murray, when someone says to you, you know what? Let's say you lost, and now you used to pay $200 in child support. Now all of a sudden, I fabricated a whole bunch of great stories, and now the judge says, Murray, sheriffs, you have to pay Ravit $800 a month in child support. So now you're up $600 that you never expected. Would you be happy or sad about that, or angry?
Oh, I'd be pissed.
Exactly.
I'd be pissed. I remember a story. Let me tell you a story on this very topic. There was a guy getting a divorce out in Alberta, and he was not doing well. He had to pay a lot of money to his ex on child support and what's the other one, alimony.
Yeah.
Had to pay that, right? And she took him back to court.
Mm-hmm.
And he found out that he was going to have to pay even more money. And he told the judge, he said, look, I'm driving a 17-year-old car now. There's just no way I can afford this. I live in this one-room apartment. It's not going to work. And you're asking me to pay even more money now? I don't have the money. He said, get yourself another job, he being the judge. Get yourself another job. And he's going, I'm already working the job that I have. I'm working double overtime sometimes in order to make the bills that I have now.
Mm-hmm.
He was a train engineer, like takes trains across the Rockies and everything. You know how he solved this problem?
Oh.
He went out on a route one day
Uh-oh.
and he stood in front of his train and he allowed the train to run over him.
Oh my God.
That is a justice system that failed this man.
Yes.
Failed his kids, 3 of them.
That's right.
And it's like, really? The judge couldn't see that ordering him, suggesting he get another job in order to make the payments would not be right. Now they lost the dad.
Yeah.
Now they
lost the money.
They lost the money, yeah. There's no money.
And now the mom has to go and work.
Yeah. Oh, gee, isn't that tough, eh?
Mm-hmm.
But
karma.
is there no justice in the justice system that would see that dumb judge hauled up before his peers and said, are you a moron? Wait a minute, that question's already asked. You're a moron. What are you doing telling this guy that kind of stuff? He ruined the kids.
That's right.
He ruined the man's life, obviously. He's dead.
Yeah.
It's like, there's no system where the judges are held accountable, is there?
I don't believe so.
Yeah,
I don't believe so. But that's the problem, is that we keep saying the justice system is so outdated. It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And even lawyers that are refusing to litigate are saying there's no point. Because the two of you, if you can't sit down and communicate and co-parent and coexist, we're not going to be able to settle anything.
Yeah.
And if you keep going in front of a judge, you're going to lose out all your money. All of us are going to have gray hairs and pull our hair out, one or the other, because no one wins at the end of the day. So even in our situation where, one is winning, one is losing, we're going to keep going through this tornado until one of us or both of us end up giving up.
That's a great question.
Right? So exactly. So that's what ends up happening. So in the meantime, let's say we've been to court 3 times. Okay? So we have the $10,000 we've each spent on the court dates and preparing for the court appearances or the trial. But we also have all those back and forth ridiculous emails and phone calls between our lawyers because you and I can't talk to each other and can't communicate.
Which are also costing each of you money.
Exactly. Okay. So like the Sally's pink shoes, grilled cheese sandwiches, all those stories we keep talking about, those are all costing money. Every time my lawyer sends your lawyer a letter, I'm paying for the lawyer and you're paying for the lawyer. And then you're going to reply back to me and you go, she's not going to win on top of this one. And they're asking and demanding a response. So now you're going to respond back to me. So now we've spent a couple of $1,000s within all this time. Okay. So now you spend at least 30 grand. Let's round it up to, let's say, $35,000 with all the back and forth emails. Okay. That were not part of the trial. And I spent $35,000. Okay. Now we're going to look at the future value of money. And this is the part that Murray was like completely shocked with. Because a lot of people don't think like this. So when we look at the future value of money, all we're looking for is a very simple way of looking at what is your money worth in 10 years and in 25 years. Okay. So if you were to spend that money today, what could it have been worth? And what did you lose in 10 years and 25 years? Okay. Had it been invested? Had you have not borrowed it? And this is a very, very simple inflation rate of 2.5%. We didn't add in any extras and on all that kind of stuff. It could definitely be worth more than what we're talking about now. So if I were to spend $15,000 today, and 15 grand is nothing if you're going to court, because you and I just went to court 3 times from our scenario before, and we each spent 30 grand easily, right? Okay. My money in 10 years would be worth $19,000, and in 25 years would have been worth $28,000. So I'm at the age where I'm about to retire in, let's say, 25 years, and God willing, even earlier, but who knows at this point. If I were to take my $15,000 and I wouldn't touch it for the next 25 years when I'm ready to retire, I would have gained $13,000. But the fact that I spent it today, I'm actually at a loss of 13 grand. Okay, so that's almost double my money.
Yep.
Okay. If I were to spend $25,000 today, it would be worth $32,000 in 10 years for a loss of $7,000. Okay? And it would be valued at $44,000 in 25 years, where I've just lost $19,000. So in the story that you and I, exactly, so you and I each would have lost $20,000. That's $40,000 less that our children could have had in 25 years. And the fact that you and I just spent 60 grand today, which is 60 grand less today than we're ever going to give our kids. If you spend, and this one relates to me, and this one hurts. The $50,000 you spend today is worth $64,000 in 10 years for a loss of $14,000 and $93,000 of value in 25 years for a loss of $43,000. I am short now $43,000 because if I would have kept my 50 grand, if I would have had the option to not go to court and fight it out, I would have had an extra $43,000 minimum in 25 years when I'm ready to retire. But right now, a bunch of lawyers have this money. They're going to end up being rich and investing well-earned money that came from me to benefit them. And the last one is not uncommon. So don't freak out when I throw out this number. The $100,000 you spend today.
100 grand.
100 grand. And that's easy. That's chump change. I've heard of people spending well over 200 grand. He's shocked. He doesn't believe it. I need to introduce you to a few people. That 100 grand is worth $128,000 in 10 years, leading you to a loss of $28,000, and is worth $166,000 in 25 years for a painful loss of $66,000. Now, I know we're throwing out numbers here, but on my website or on my YouTube channel or even on my podcast channel, there's a video called the Co2 Program. The Co2 Program is a program that I created here at my Amicable Divorce Center. And in there, there's a video that shows you these numbers. Okay, and it shows you graphically because I know that I kind of just threw out numbers out there. So if you want to see it and actually point it out to your ex or soon-to-be ex, I think this is a great way, a great opening discussion and saying, I don't know about you, honey, or soon-to-be not my so honey. I'm not looking to lose $66,000. And I don't know about you, but this is ridiculous. If we were to, on day one of separation, the minute you go into a lawyer's office, okay, for instance, if the lawyer were to say, Murray, I don't know how much it's going to cost you in court, but I can tell you that it costs you at least $15,000 for every court case. Okay? Grosso modo, a couple of dollars here and there. If we were to battle this out, back and forth, could cost you $100,000. There's a possibility that you're going to spend up to $100,000. And if you are, that $100,000 could have been worth $166,000 in 25 years. Would you like to sign my mandate? Yes or no? See?
That's well said. That's really good.
Exactly. But the bottom line is that it's not what's being done. And so when people are talking about getting divorced, they're not looking at the money. But they should look at the money.
Because your lawyer's looking at the money.
Oh, they're loving it. They're going ding, 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 ding. I can't wait to go to the bank account every time they fight and argue over one little stupid thing after another because I'm getting rich and I don't care about them because I found myself a cash cow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you're not even being cynical.
I'm not being cynical.
Realistic as hell.
Totally and completely. So the bottom line is, what are you losing along the way? Well, if you're putting this money in, what are you losing?
We come down to that list.
Yes.
And we can skip all the other stuff. You just did future money. Yeah, good. And, kids' private school.
Yes.
Very good. But I get the lost vacations. The lost vacations, you can never get the time back.
No.
At the time that you are now, let's say in your 30s, your 40s.
Yeah.
And I've got this dream of going to Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia.
Oh.
To have that not a part of my life, you end up at the end of your life with regrets. Right?
Absolutely.
And as Mark Twain said, regret what you did do, not what you didn't do. And if I don't go to vacation in where I want to, Australia perhaps, or just in the Andes, wherever, it's never going to happen. And you'll be an 85-year-old doofus sitting there thinking about the money that you spent on what you spent it on, your divorce, and what you could have spent it on, the memories created by having weeks and weeks in some foreign exotic land. What would you rather have? That's the thing that would get me the most. That would bother me like crazy. And I don't want to have regrets at the end of my life.
Exactly. And if somebody were, if let's say your soon to be ex-wife was starting to boil inside, and you know deep down inside, hold on a second. If she boils, I know how she reacts. And I know that if she ends up saying, I'm taking you to court, I'm screwed. And there goes my vacation money, and there goes everything else. That would be a reasonable way of looking at it. The problem is that people are not thinking that way. They're thinking, oh no, she's not going to win. I'm going to win. And I know what I'm talking about. So I don't care what she does. My money is a bottomless pit, and I can keep finding it, and I don't care what's going to happen, just as long as she suffers and she doesn't get her way.
Well, how deep is your hate? Huh?
Exactly. You know, there's something that I write on my website, and a few people have approached me and said, wow, that's deep. And it's bitterness binds you as strongly as your love once did. Right?
Nice.
Isn't that deep? It's true. You know, I have my theories, but I'm convinced that when an ex makes your life a living hell and misery, to some degree, and we're going to go into this in another episode, to some degree, he's still or she's still madly in love with you. And this is where it's stemming from. There is no way that after 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, you can still hold on to such hate. It's you're holding on to something. You're holding on to that little piece of that love, that something that you had together. So for all of you exes out there who have an ex who hates you and really makes your life miserable, pat yourself on the back at least and say to yourself, well, at least I was a fantastic wife and mother. And at least that's one of the reasons why he wants to make your life living hell. And that'll make you feel better. Even if it's true or not true, it makes you laugh, makes you smile, and it makes you feel good. And that's the bottom line.
It would almost come down to if I can't have you, I don't want anybody
Nobody
else
else will.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if I can make your life miserable enough to the point you'll be unappealing to someone else, well, that's perfect.
Well, nice
you're
try.
more occupied with me. It's like going back to school in the old days. I'm going to pull her hair.
Yes.
And I don't care what kind of attention I get.
Yeah.
As long as I get attention.
Exactly.
And she's mad at me and she's pissed off and she's ripping at me. It doesn't matter. At least you're paying attention.
You got a reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And I guess we don't lose sight. We don't grow up much.
Especially you men.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not evolving so fast, are you?
And we're warring.
Yes.
And I don't care what kind of attention I get from you, as long as I get attention.
Exactly.
That's what you're saying.
So what happens is that the kids lose out. You know, it's so sad, and this is what bothers me the most. The kids have one childhood. Why are you playing with it? Why are you taking chances on it? So some parents say, I'm sheltering my child and they don't know anything. No, bullshit, you're not. Because they see it. They feel it. They see how you react. You don't have to use your words. Sometimes it's your expression. Sometimes it's your mode. It's the way your posture is. It's you know, subliminal messages. They see it. You cannot shelter them from this no matter how much you try.
A lot smarter than you think.
A lot smarter. Yeah. So what happens at the end of the day is that when you spend all of this money, you can't give them the opportunity they deserve and that they want. And what if private school is a better idea for them? Because you know what? If you send them to private school, you know that they will succeed better in life. And you know that they will be happier in that educational institution rather than being in public school. What if your child is an absolute genius at soccer, or he's like some master something, okay? And you want to put him in a team. And now your ex says, no, I don't want to put him in a team because that means I have to pay an extra $1,000. Yeah, but you've paid your $1,000 to your lawyer, so why can't you pay the $1,000 for your kid's soccer team or sports activities? You say, no, because I don't have the money anymore. Well, duh. You take all your money that you had and you didn't have, you throw it all at lawyers, and then when your kids actually need it, they don't have it. Where's the reasoning in that?
There is no reasoning. I just like to have you pay attention to it. There is no reasoning. It's okay because I'm pissing you off. There is no reasoning. You know what? I'm just doing it because I can get you to dance the dance I want you to dance.
Right.
So there is no reasoning. And stop asking me these stupid questions.
Exactly. And that's what many men would say, and many men would react.
Really?
And so don't fall into this trap. If you have the possibility of choosing an amicable divorce or an acrimonious divorce, choose the amicable one, because you will end up being the winner at the end of the day. And this is what you have to remember. Stop thinking of outbidding and outwinning and screwing them over. You don't want to get into this game.
Funny you say that. The fight in psychologists will tell, or marriage counselors will tell people, don't in a relationship fight to win. Fight fair.
Exactly.
But I guess we can.
We're not fighting fair here.
Well, no,
No.
and we should.
Absolutely. And you know what? And I think that the government should get involved to some degree. And the reason is as follows. Let's say that you and I, and we're just two random people, and there's thousands of others like that out there. You and I just spent 60 grand from our example before, right? From our scenario that we had. Okay. Now we don't have money for vacation. Our kids are not going to private school, okay? And we're just throwing in all kinds of things here. And you and I have each drained our RSPs because we needed the money to fight out in court, and that was absolutely important and imperative that we cash out our RSPs in order to pay our legal fees, right? So now we're in our 40s, let's say, and we've got 25 years left until we retire. And if you dream of retiring earlier, you can keep dreaming unless you make a lot of money, which would be fantastic for you. And so now we have to rebuild our RSPs at the age of, in our 40s, when our kids are growing up and the expenses are just getting higher and higher and higher. And reality's cost of living is not dropping. Okay. And what about the fact that we just drained every dollar that we each had? And now we need help from the government. So now the government has to kick in and say, whoa, wait a minute. Either all these people are going to be on poverty level and won't be able to survive, or we got to kick in and pay them each $900 per family, right? So there's the child assistance programs. So they throw in all kinds of money. But the $900, however generous it is, and many people are very happy about it, it's not enough. And what it doesn't do is doesn't teach you to be independent. And it doesn't help you to resave all that money that you lost to put back in your RSPs. And it doesn't force you to put money into your RESP so that your kids have a planned, dedicated contribution or amount of money that will go towards their education.
So you're asking the government to what? Educate us?
Educate us better. Close the doors to the courtroom. Don't make it so easy for us to blow our money so that you can end up bailing us out. Because if you can't bail us out at the end, you should not let us get to the point where we can force ourselves to claim bankruptcy or end up on welfare. It should not be easy to go into court. There should be triage. There should be many different things in order to determine whether it is relevant at all or reasonable at all to be seen in front of a judge, or if this is just two parents who have no idea how to co-parent. Why should I be forced to spend 30 grand because you, Murray, decided to send me to court 3 times? Why should I be forced to spend it? I don't want to do it. I don't want to spend this kind of money. I want to save it. I want to go on vacation with my kids. I want to take them once a year for 2 nights to Quebec City. But if I keep going to court all the time, I can't even take them for half an hour to Quebec City. And the clock keeps ticking. So at the end of the day, you have to think of present value. What are you going to lose today? Because your quality of life today is going to change. If you're in the divorcing or separating process, your life is going to change whether you like it or not. It's not necessarily going to be the same. In some cases, it's better, and some people are happy. But most often than not, when you're taking both your incomes or one income and you're splitting into 2, there's only so much you could stretch that dollar, right? So you have to look at what happens today, and then you have to look at what's going to happen in the future. What are you going to lose along the way? Are you ready to give that up? And now I have Murray shocked, confused, filled with emotions. I've stirred him up again. I'm doing a good job at it the last few days. And I'm sure that all of you who are listening to us have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it. Please feel free to comment either on the Podbean website or if you download the Podbean app on Facebook or LinkedIn at Ravit Rose. That's RAVITROSE. We are very much interested in hearing your comments and suggestions. and your stories. So please feel free to share them with us. And until next time, have yourself a day that matters. Thank you so much.